What's good, YouTube? It's Mo Slides, and today we're going to talk about how Jake Paul became the most hated YouTuber of all time. With Jake Paul is getting raided by the FBI and his boxing match with former NBA player Nate Robinson happening, I thought it would be a good time to make this video. You have to be living under a rock to have never heard his name. But for a quick breakdown, Jake Paul is a YouTube vlogger who got his start on Vine making short 6-second videos.
Hey Logan!
He was a big creator there, but he was still in his older brother Logan's shadow. Eventually Vine died and Jake Paul made the switch over to YouTube, making vlogs about his day-to-day life. At one point, Jake Paul was the fastest growing YouTube channel of all time. He was on Disney Channel, getting millions of views of video, and believe it or not, getting almost no hate. But he became the supervillain of YouTube. He is one of the most hated, if not the most hated YouTuber of all time. People look at him as an asshole, a douchebag. Literally any bad thing you could think of, Jake Paul has been called it. A lot of people don't even know why they hate Jake Paul. Everyone else does, so they do it too. But in this video, I'm gonna go over every single reason why people hate him, and how he went from this sweet little boy from Ohio to one of the most hated people on the internet. But in this video, we're gonna play a little game, because some of Jake Paul's hate is definitely understandable, but some of it is definitely a reach. I'm gonna go through each one and at the end, say if that hate is justified or unjustified. But that's enough talking. If you like these type of videos, leave a like. If you're new here, subscribe. We're on the road to monetization, so that will help out a ton. But I'm Mo Slides, and let's get right into the video. To get into the reason why everybody hates Jake Paul, we gotta take it all the way back to a song Jake dropped only comparable to Ice JJ Fish.
It's something about the girl that just makes my head wanna twirl.
It's Everyday Bro. Now this song has some incredible bars like, I just dropped some new merch and it's selling like a god church, or England is my city.
Make me tell them the truth, and I just dropped some new merch and it's selling like a god church. Ohio's where I'm from.
Now this song was actually doing pretty good. Jake Paul's audience was so young that they didn't even realize how bad the song was. Most people over 13 didn't even know who Jake was at this point. It's Everyday Bro had 5 million views at one day, was number 3 on iTunes, was number 1 trending, and had 600,000 likes with only 50,000 dislikes. But that was before a bunch of big YouTubers started calling it out. People like PewDiePie, RiceGum, H3H3, and Keemstar all made videos on him, which sent a crazy wave of hate over to him. And now this song is sitting at 5 million dislikes, the 8th most disliked video of all time. At this point, people didn't really hate Jake though, they were just laughing at how bad his music was. I'm not gonna lie, that song was a fat L, and the hate he was getting from it wasn't really that bad. It was just trolling, so I'm gonna have to say this hate is justified. Jake had a team of influencers around basically leeching onto him to become famous called Team 10. They all lived in a mansion together and filmed videos with each other. And this was an actual business with real investors behind him. One of the people in this house was a model named Alyssa Violet. Jake met her in Ohio, flew her out to LA, and they were on and off dating for a while. She said Jake was manipulative and would do shit to piss her off, and eventually she got fed up.
I hit up Logan and I was like, yo, like, let's hang out. And then we all went to a club, like a bunch of our friends together, and then me and Logan hooked up.
This whole story is crazy. If you want me to break that whole thing down, leave a like. But Jake basically found out, threw her out the house, threw her stuff down the stairs, and was basically like, get out of my house.
Basically this, Jake's kicking me out.
She was forced to leave and eventually started dating huge YouTuber FaZe Banks and lived in another mansion full of YouTubers called the Cloud House, which was sort of made to rival Team 10. With Summer Rae, FaZe Banks, RiceGum, and FaZe Rug, they had huge YouTubers, more popping than Team 10, and they was beefing with Team 10 because of Alyssa. All their fans were like, fuck Jake Paul. Y'all remember when Jake dropped his Everyday Bro? He dissed her in that song. He says, and you know I kicked them out if they ain't with the crew.
Jake's kicking me out.
He says, yeah, I'm talking about you begging for attention, talking shit on Twitter too, but you still hit my phone last night. It was 4:52 and I got the text to prove. He was talking about Alyssa. After they broke up, she would tweet subtle things or even flat out diss him. And Alyssa says she was the one who texted him at 4:52.
You did text them.
Yeah, I said I will always be here for you, even if you don't want me to be.
Yeah, you're being nice to him.
I wanted.
After she got dissed in It's Everyday Bro, she came out with her Jake Paul exposed video. She said Jake had crazy rules for everybody in Team 10. Like you had to get up at 10 a.m., no alcohol, no smoking, and anyone you had over had to be approved by Jake. If you broke any one of these rules, he would fine you money. And she says Jake was emotionally abusive. He would make her cry all the time and treated her horrible. He would fly girls in and sleep with them right in front of Alyssa.
Flew out this girl from Ohio, right? She walks in the door, I have to like be like, oh hi, yeah, nice to meet you, whatever. I'm like a bitch. I'm like literally a bitch. Like I don't mean to be, but like dude, you're smashing the guy I'm like in love with. And I would be like downstairs in the kitchen, like making breakfast or something. I'd just get back from the gym, I'd be cooking food, and then all of a sudden I'd hear them upstairs like.
And she talks about how she ran into Jake Paul's dad one time after her and Logan had her thing and he cursed her out.
The other day I ran into Greg Paul, Jake and Logan's dad, and I was like, hey, straight up. He's like, shut the f up, get out of my face. Like, get the f out of my face, go f yourself. Go back to Ohio, go back to Panera, you're lazy, saying all this stuff.
In Alyssa's video, she says every time she tried to have a guy over, Jake Paul wouldn't approve it. But one day she got tired of it and she got with another guy. Then she says Jake fired her, kicked her out the house, and told everyone she cheated. What she forgets to mention is that other guy was his older brother, Logan Paul. That whole thing wasn't public until a long time after, and it probably would have made more people on Jake's side. After this, she made a Jake Paul diss track featuring Rice Gum called It's Every Night Sis. This song went platinum and got over 1.5 billion streams, and Alyssa had everybody in the clout house behind her, and people was looking at it like, Jake Paul's an asshole, how could he do this to his girlfriend? I was definitely on the fuck Jake Paul bandwagon too, but looking back, if a girl did that with my brother, she would have got kicked out too, and she left out a very big detail in the exposed video. So I'm gonna have to say that hate against Jake Paul in this situation is unjustified. Jake Paul's neighbors absolutely despised him.
I mean, what's the experience for you neighbors on the street?
Think of the worst case scenario of the worst neighbor you could possibly imagine and times it by 10.
Jake Paul's address was public information. If you literally looked up his house on Google, it would come up. So he would have hundreds of fans roaming the neighborhood, all over the neighbors' properties. They were literally everywhere, in the street, in the yard, on the sidewalk, on the driveway. And usually when fans come to YouTubers' house, they ignore them, so more don't come. But Jake kept taking pictures and interacting with them, so more and more started coming. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really Jake's fault. Team 10 member Nick Crompton said this.
That people seem to believe is that Jake would leak his own address so people would come. Like,
he apparently makes his address no secret. The neighbors hate me.
Why would you want around 50 to 70, 80 people outside your house at all time? When that's happening and you have all those people outside, you don't want to get pictures with them because that encourages everyone else to come as well. Can we keep moving?
They're gentle, they make you famous. Remember, they give you paychecks, they make you famous, you stay gentle.
But if you don't get pictures with them, you look like an asshole.
So in that situation, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. The parents would try to shame them if they didn't get pictures with their kids. And these parents would literally park their cars anywhere, making it hard for neighbors to get out. And they would just set up tents and camp outside of his house. This is already a bad situation for the neighbors. And on top of that, Jake would do the craziest shit, like light his pool on fire. Yes, on fire. Jake put all his furniture in the pool and then burned it. And the flames were so high, they reached over his house and filled his neighbor's house with smoke.
So this fire was 6 feet from the next door neighbor, who's an 80-year-old woman from Poland. She's lived here a very long time. Her parents fled Germany or something like that during the war, and they came here, and her entire house was filled with black toxic smoke.
The neighbors would ask Jake to tone his stunts down, and he wasn't listening. So they got in contact with KTLA, who came to Jake's neighborhood with a camera crew and broke the story. This is where we got the viral moment where Jake Paul looked like a complete idiot and climbed on top of the news van.
Jake, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't crawl up there.
Why?
Okay, I just wouldn't do that. A lot of the neighbors are complaining. They're very upset.
No, why?
They say that you've created a living hell out here, that it's like a circus.
Yeah, it is.
All the fans.
I mean, but people like going to circuses, right? I have one question for you.
Yeah?
What are those?
Jake Paul was already hated. He was looked at as cringy and an asshole. But after this KTLA thing, he was a douchebag too. The neighbors said they were going to file a public nuisance lawsuit on him, and his response to this was going on Twitter and saying, "You won't." After this story started going viral, he responded on Twitter saying people should stop caring about him being a bad neighbor and care about the people getting shot every day. He even retweeted his 6-year-old fans who would say things like this and say, "We are savages, we are always lit, we prank people, we are Jake Paulers." After this, it just got worse for the neighbors. He started bashing them in his vlogs, and now the hundreds of fans outside his house started harassing them. And this is when the whole situation started getting even more crazy. People would come to his house and throw pranks. They would pretend to be eviction officers, lick his doors, and even started swatting him. They would call the police and be saying things like Jake Paul has 7 kids locked in his basement so that the SWAT team would come to his house. Then Jake uploads a video where he flips everything on the neighbors. He says he's not the one that's a bad neighbor, they are. He says they call the cops on him and shows a video of it. But Jake's next claim was the craziest. He says the neighbors attempted to take his life. His Team 10 van got in an accident on the highway, and he's lucky he wasn't in the van, but he blames the accident on his neighbors.
One of the neighbors yesterday, or 2 nights ago, sorry, one of the neighbors comes over and unscrews the screws in the tire to our Team 10 van. The neighbors tried to kill us, bro. They take the nuts out. The nuts are off of the tire, so they start driving slow on the highway. Literally, the whole entire tire falls off, and they, like, the bus lopsides. They go flying into the middle of the traffic on the 101. The whole highway stops. Super dangerous situation, and our neighbors are the ones that did this.
Now, Jake has multi-million-dollar homes next door to him. I don't think any of these neighbors are dumb enough to attempt murder, but that's what he said. But people also pointed out that in a vlog before this, Logan said this.
If you guys are Jake's neighbors, you guys should egg his house or take the lug nuts off the wheels of his car. Take the lug nuts off the wheels of his car.
People started saying that Logan and Jake were the ones that did it to frame the neighbors. The neighbors also responded saying they would never do something like that, and it was ridiculous and even slanderous, and they're going to be taking legal action against them. But eventually the neighbors defeated the big bad Jake Paul, and the court ordered him not to make any more content in that house, or he could face up to 6 months in prison. Now, is this hate justified or unjustified? Even though it wasn't Jake's fault that the fans came, he was still doing wild shit like the thing with the pool. So I'm gonna have to say this hate against Jake Paul is justified. At the time Jake was making his vlogs, he was also a Disney star. He was on set 60 hours a week and making vlogs every single day. Jake was on the show Bizarre Vark, but with all the controversy he was in, Disney Channel couldn't handle it anymore. They had a clean reputation, and anytime Jake did something wrong, the headline was Disney star Jake Paul does blah blah blah. So eventually they let him go mid-season. When it first happened, he claimed it was a mutual decision. He said he did it so he could focus on more adult roles.
You know what sucks though is like I wasn't actually fired by Disney.
I know,
like,
I know.
It was like
a
mutual departure but like I kind of just run with it because everyone thinks that.
Now, was this really a mutual decision though? They probably didn't like that negative attention that he was bringing and couldn't handle it anymore. But another big reason why people hate him is because he doxed Post Malone. If y'all don't know what doxing is, it's giving away somebody's private information. And for Post Malone, Jake recorded the outside of his house and the license plate number on his car. Y'all remember when Jake dropped his Everyday Bro? Post Malone reacted to the song trashing it.
I don't understand. I don't understand. It's just flabbergasted
by how this can exist.
Yeah, how people can, like, this is the type of shit that I was making when I was 14.
Right.
After this, Post Malone ordered some Jake Paul merch as a joke and put up a tweet showing it off. Him and H3 were going to use it as a skit, but Jake didn't know that. He showed up to Post Malone's house with his merch and no warning. He didn't text him, didn't call him. He pulled up to his house recording the outside of it. And then he went up, gave him the package, and shoved the camera in his face. Now, I gotta give him some credit for blurring the mailbox, but what the fuck is that supposed to stop? You can still clearly see the house, and if you zoom in, you can see the license plate numbers on his car.
Yo, is Austin here? Bro, we got your merch. We got your merch, bro. We got your merch.
What's going on?
Can we vlog or no?
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, Jake asked for permission to vlog, but he didn't say, yo, I've been recording the outside of your house for the last 5 minutes. Now, Post Malone is a nice guy, but Jake rolled up to his property, so Post Malone had the right to do whatever he wanted to him. But Post's good friend H3 was pissed. He was the one he was with when he was reacting to his Everyday Bro, and when he saw this, he was furious. He reacted to the video and added his own blur because Jake's didn't really do shit and was basically calling Jake an idiot and clowning him the whole time.
Think about it, you fucking idiot. He's one of my best friends. We always make fun of you guys. You're confused. Follow that emotion. Think about it for more than a second before you go dox him. Here's his house. Here's the full silhouette of his house, the view, the neighborhood, his cars. Here's everything you need to completely identify where he lived. He should have shot him. He should have just shot him dead.
But Jake has been a mixture of apologetic and unapologetic. Sometimes when he asked about it, he sounds kind of sorry, while other times he try to make it sound like it's not his fault.
The sniper shot from the car. I don't think that's implied.
I messed up. messed up. I'm sorry, Post. Sorry, dude.
All right.
I like your songs.
Don't need it.
He, like, we brought it to his house, and he got, like, super upset about that because
Oh, you didn't
he thought
mail it. He was like, hey, lose right away.
But, like, if someone orders your merchandise, like,
That's
think
dope.
they'd
The
be
owner of the
excited to see
company
you, right.
delivers the stuff to your crib.
that's what I'm saying.
No, Jake, he ordered that shit as a joke. And you showing up isn't the main reason why he was mad. He was mad because you filmed the outside of his house for millions of people to see. And Post Malone's house even got robbed after this. Some intruders came in screaming, where's Post Malone's, and took $20,000 worth of stuff. Post Malone, he moved out by them. But Post wasn't fucking with him after this, and even had a crowd at one of his shows chant, fuck Jake Paul. For this one, the hate on Jake Paul was definitely justified. Back in August 2017, hashtag Jake Paul is over party was trending on Twitter. This was the first time they was really trying to get him out of here. They was trying to cancel him. But what did he do? People were accusing him of being racist because in one of his vlogs, this happened.
Hi. Man, can you put this on vlog, please?
Yes. Where are you from?
I'm from Kazakhstan originally, but... Oh,
It sounds like you're just gonna blow someone up.
thank you so much.
You're like, send the nuke.
Were you making a prank over there?
Yeah, we...
Bro, can I just take a picture of it?
Yeah, let's do
Now, out of all things you could cancel him for, this, I understand how somebody could see it as messed up, but is it really cancelable? But then people started bringing up his old tweets where he would repeatedly say the N-word. But none of this affected Jake, and he uploaded a video the next day like nothing happened. The vlog thing wasn't really cancelable, but add that to them pulling up his old tweets, the hate against Jake Paul for this one is definitely justified. If you disagree with anything I said in this video, feel free to leave a comment. But in part 2, we're gonna dive into the deeper reason why people hate him. Like the allegations he made against FaZe Banks.
He knocked the wind out of me and like he dragged me by my neck.
What happened to the Martinez twins, the video of him saying the N-word and more. He got a lot of heat for those. But there's some things that the public doesn't know about those situations. I'm not trying to be unfair, I'm trying to show you both sides. I'm gonna hit all that in part 2. But don't forget to hit that like button. I'm Mo Slides and I'm out.